mental, spiritual, physical support system, relationship, and role model. This is just some I pick up from some of the literature that we do for our projects. Well, this is like vicious cycle of poverty. The old theory was saying that once you are poor, then you are trapped inside that cycle. It's very difficult to break out that cycle when somebody have low income, meaning that low saving, low investment, low productivity, and low consumption. So this cycle will continue on and on. There are various approaches used in studying poverty. A scientific approach where economy where poverty is measured based on income, education level, health status, and public amenities. This approach put the blame on the poor for being unable to participate in economic development. For example, they were saying that these people are lazy, not doing enough to move out of poverty and things like that. While the structural approach blame on the policy or the government for unable to move these poor people out of poverty. And finally, the poverty knowledge. The recent approach is looking at why these people are being trapped into poverty. Instead of putting the blame on the poor for unable to move out of poverty, they are looking at how to make these people be able to participate in economic development, debate, and policy intervention. So it can be tangible or intangible. So come to my interest now is that looking at poverty and inequality. This is like going hand in hand, where being poor and having involved, even being under inequality, we look at this in terms of the gap between the rich and the poor. Now, due to economic development, the gap between the rich and the poor is quite high and widening. This has caused lack of individual responsibility, bad government policy, exploitation by people and businesses with power and influence, or some combination of this. And finally is geographical or location factor. We are dealing with location factor when we look at spatial inequality. Most economies use Gini coefficient, and most of the countries use Gini coefficient to calculate or to measure inequality, which value some range from 0 to 1, where 0 is perfect equality and 1 is perfect inequality. So the bigger the value, meaning higher inequality between the rich and the poor. Inequality will affect social conditions and leads to problems such as increasing crime and violence, and etc. So if you look at income inequality for the world, there are several countries that have like these are the value. This is value index in 1 to 100, where some of the country you get dark blue is that higher inequality, while the grey one is just no data. This is I got this from the internet. What it means by spatial dimension of poverty? Spatial dimension means we describe and compare of where environmental factors are located. Meaning that if you live in certain area, you might be having face the problem of inequality, having lack of access to education, health, or opportunity. That's what we are trying to do. The patterns are determined by using quantitative and qualitative research to compare areas with one another in relation to particular variables. One way of looking at it is using poverty map, which can represent spatial heterogeneity across space, mainly due to differences in resources, education attainment, and accessibility to healthcare services and income. So what we're trying to do is that based on early cycle of poverty, we try to put an intervention strategy somewhere. In this conceptual framework, we try to put a policy on condition that enabling economic growth, human and social capital here, where we try to make sure we have spatial and social equality instead of inequality. So based on this framework, then we trying to came up with some strategies to reduce inequality in the society. This is some of the statistics looking at poverty in Asia. Poverty rate is measured based on poverty line income, which was set at $625 per day. It's about 2.43 Brunei dollar. Poverty was significantly reduced since 1970s. As I said, it is an old issue since 1970s, but various policy, for example, in Malaysia, we start off with new economic policy. It has a long history. For example, in May 1969, we have racial riot in Malaysia, which has caused this. This is due to income inequality among various ethnic groups. We have three major ethnic groups in Malaysia: Malay, Chinese, and Indian. Where Chinese usually live in urban areas, they have more opportunity to education, health, and participate in economic activity. So they have like a larger portion of economic benefit from the nation. So it becomes a clash between different ethnic groups. And after that, the government have came up with new economic policy in 1971 to 1990, which intends to eradicate poverty. And then after that, we come up with National Development Plan, 1990 to 2000, and National Vision Strategy, 2000 to 2010, and recently is New Economic Model, which was launched in 2010, which aimed to increase per capita income for the nation.